what is going on in the world of MMA?
Nothing.
Is there anything? Because there's no fights.
There's nothing going on. We're coming off the heels of apparently a not very successful UFC event. UFC 225, I believe, less than 150,000 pay-per-view buys.
Well, that is the report. The report that is doing the rounds on a lot of the websites, and I'll tell you this right now, these websites don't get it right, but, well, I'm sure some of the times they do. But, the reports are less than 150,000 pay-per-view buys for UFC 225, which is surprising. Pardon me, that carbonated drink is making me burp. 2 title fights, stats card, Holly Holm, big name for the women's division. CM Punk
in Chicago.
Yeah. So that is surprising.
What is going on here?
Now, UFC attorney came out and said that figure is off. And he said by at least 6 figures. So by saying that, I would assume that that's 100,000 off. So even still, that's 250,000.
That's very low.
Yeah, it's not a gigantic number. It's not a gigantic. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it's the time of year. Maybe people are going away on vacation. Maybe people are more excited for Stipe Miocic and thinking about next year. Maybe Colvin Covington isn't the draw that he thinks he is.
Well, yeah, for all the shit that Colby Covington talked, he's like, I'm the next fucking whatever. Well,
he couldn't draw a picture of a pay-per-view, let alone draw a pay-per-view.
He's on the co-main event, Whitaker and Romero. That's a huge fight for the middleweight division.
But to be fair, and I don't understand this, Whitaker versus Romero, that didn't draw well last time either. That was 150,000 or so, which is insane because the first fight with Whitaker Romero was a fantastic fight. The rematch was probably even better, a lot more drama, fantastic fight back and forth, and I'll say once again, well done both guys, well done Whitaker and Still. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I think the UFC, they spent so long building the brand UFC, right? And it was, I think the Fertittas and Dana, they had this vision of, like, let's really make those 3 letters mean something. And they did this so well for so long. And I feel like there's been a turn, and maybe I'm crazy about this. Maybe you're going to tell me I'm fucking nuts and I'm wrong right now.
I know what you're going to say.
But ever since WME purchased the UFC, I feel like they've been a little bit too short-sighted. They've put so much into Conor. They put so much into, I don't know, just kind of like these big, huge money fights. Even them letting Conor fight Mayweather was such a not UFC move.
Hold on. By you saying that, for me not to bring this up or for you to bring it up would get criticism. So what you're saying is that me fighting GSP is potentially one of those situations. Now I know it's not because GSP is legitimate and he was undefeated, retired champion and came back and went up a weight class. So there's a storyline there. But that does kind of play into the narrative that you are suggesting somewhat.
Sort of. And I'll tell you, yes, the UFC, the only reason I disagree with that is because I believe GSP having 4 years off, retiring like he did with the belt, beating every man that had ever been put in front of him. I feel like he deserved the respect to come back, and if he wanted to fight for the middleweight title, they should have given him that fight.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Whether it was you or not.
And I'm not trying to steer the conversation towards me. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that, and I would also be somewhat blind to the obvious if I wasn't to mention that. I felt that had to be mentioned there. But listen, your theory there, and again, obviously I work for the UFC. I'm loyal to the UFC, so I've got to be careful what I say. I don't know if I agree with that. Listen, at the end of the day, they know what they're doing. They just signed a massive deal with the ESPN. They're certainly not hurting financially. Listen, that didn't sell as well. I don't think, there's necessarily one thing that you can pinpoint it to. Maybe Covington no one cares about. Maybe Dos Anjos people aren't sold on him being a legitimate title. Maybe they look at the interim title as like, well, hold on, it's not a real title fight. Maybe Whitaker and Romero aren't draws, which they've proved before. So I think all them things together.
I just think that.
And CM Punk, I think the thing with CM Punk, I think all credibility that he had as a mixed martial artist and a potential draw, that went flying out the window as soon as Mickey Gall choked him out. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So then people are like, hold on a minute, listen, he can't cut it. He got his ass kicked off someone called Mickey Gall. Now we know Mickey Gall is a legitimate fighter and will have a great future in the sport. But, to the average Joe, they saw CM Punk get fucked up. So the WWE fans that don't necessarily tune in, they're like, I'm not wasting another $60 to get an ex-WWE guy get choked out again. So I think maybe banking on that wasn't smart. So, I I think I just listed a few very good reasons, Lewis.
Look, you're right about a lot of those things, but I think it has more to do with the fact that the UFC put so much marketing and so much behind people like Conor, so much behind people like Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar. They put so much into those guys specifically, and then I feel like it used to be it didn't matter who the main event was. It was 5 fights on the entire card. It was a UFC card. It didn't fucking matter. It was always about it just was UFC. And now I feel like if you don't have one of those huge names on it, now people are like,
yeah. But hold on a minute. Listen, I was going to move on then, but I've got to say, you're comparing it back to a time when there was 5 UFC events a year. In the early days, that was it. There was, so people were clamoring to see them. Rightly or wrongly, there's a UFC event most weekends. We're actually talking about the fact that there's not a fight. That was a talking point at the start. So, whoa, no fights this weekend. When there's a fight nearly every weekend, then of course the ones that stand out are the ones that have the massive stars. Yeah. That's why generally they're on pay-per-view. Talking to Jon Jones, you see there's rumors him coming back and facing, Brock Lesnar, him coming back and facing Jon Jones.
Yeah, they've been talking about that for a little while now. What do you think about that? Do you think there's any truth to it?
I do, absolutely. I think, Jon Jones, if he gets cleared, which I don't know, it's looking more and more likely that he will, he'd certainly take that fight. Of course he would. That would be a massive pay-per-view fight. Brock Lesnar. It's another big fight. He can't fight for the title. It's probably bigger than a title fight for him to face Jon Jones. I mean, that's a legit super fight. Jon Jones, disgraced former champion, comes back from suspension, faces a monster like Brock Lesnar. That's captivating. I'd watch that.
Yeah, I think everyone would watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it once again falls into the line of, what is the point?
But so what? I want to see that.
Can I tell you so what? I'm telling you.
No. So you're going to say it's distracting from the actual sport. Okay, but Jon Jones
just from the sport.
Jon Jones is suspended. Brock Lesnar is suspended. So it's not like it's affecting any kind of rankings or position for the title or anything like that. That's just a dope fight that people want to see.
It's why people aren't interested in seeing legitimate fights like Romero versus Whitaker. I think because the UFC
maybe
they've been setting up these huge crazy fights just, and I feel like that's their focus. They're looking for their next big fucking like, whoa, how can we fucking smash it out? I think it becomes, I don't know. I just think that's one of the reasons why we're kind of looking at some of these other fights.
Yeah. What are you going to get sentimental about first?
I never had the opportunity,
Here we go.
No, hey, man, look. Hey, man. I don't want to get too sensitive right now, but no, I didn't have. Growing up, I had no.
No,
money.
I know you didn't, and I apologize.
I'm
sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's my fault, and everyone listening, it's their fault also. I'm sorry. I apologize for the fact you lost your father. You did. It's sad. It's tragic.
Yeah, but
let's talk about it again.
Even forgetting losing my father, I grew up fucking poor. My mom was on welfare. My mom didn't make any money. I didn't have any. Big vacations when I was a kid. And now that I have the opportunity to bring my kid on, a really nice vacation and bring him out to California and do this, it was something that was pretty important to me. And it was awesome, man. I will tell you right now, not to suck your dick. Because
that'll be the third time this weekend.
On the audio episodes, you got to understand, a lot of it is actually just dick sucking, guys.
Go on, no, but I feel like you were about to give me a compliment, and then you went and did a massive U-turn.
Yeah,
please, Lewis.
I gotta say, man,
keep that to a minimum.
You and your family, very, very hospitable. Your house obviously is very nice. Your family is amazing. Your wife's amazing. Your kids are amazing. But I will say it was pretty amazing to come up there, or I guess down there. I always imagine Orange County is north of LA for some reason.
It's down there.
But to come down there, and it was a much different type of thing. Our kids got along really, really well, and it was a different type of environment because obviously I respect you as a fighter, and I look up to you as a fighter and a broadcaster, and we have this different relationship. But then to see you legitimately as a family man, look, dude, I don't fucking worship other dudes. I'm not sitting here asking other men for their autograph. That's not the type of guy I am. But the reality is that was pretty cool to kind of watch that and kind of have that type of bond and have our kids kind of have that type of bond. It was great, dude. It was really cool to watch, and I got to say, hats off to you because you are people don't realize that side of you. You really are a fucking great family man. You got a great family, and I think you should be proud of that.
Well, thank you, Lewis. I mean, I would typically at this point bust your balls, but really, when there was something as heartfelt as that, I can't. Thank you very much. I mean, to be honest, just doing what any normal person would do, though, if you ask me, you know. So you say things like that, and people often, they say, oh, yeah, it's amazing, you know, you're a family man and this and that, and it's like, oh, hold on, that's just life. That's what life is all about, if you ask me. That's what's important. That's what fueled my fire as a fighter, and now I'm retired, fueling my fire as just trying to be a success in life, because I want to give everything I can to my children. But thank you, Lewis. I appreciate that. And it was nice to have you down there with your little boy, James, who's an absolute sweetheart. As you say, kids got along well. Like a house on fire. We went whale watching on Saturday. Got to say thanks to Davies Locker. If you're ever in Newport, check them out. We went whale watching.
Yeah.
That's the 4th time. Listen, when people say, oh, you can come and use it anytime, because they do hook it up, I do take advantage of the whale watching a little bit. I think that might be my 4th or 5th time. But in a very short amount of time as well. But that's the first time I saw a whale. Yeah. First time, and it was fucking awesome. And we saw a lot of dolphins. That was great. That was nice.
Are we going to say it's a coincidence that I was there and you saw a whale finally?
You know, I mean,
I don't know.
If you go enough times, eventually you're going to see a whale, Lewis.
Yeah, that's true.
You were just there on that one time.
I'm just saying.
And then to keep in the spirit of seafood, we went to Joe's Crab Shack afterwards.
Yeah.
And we got some food.
Yeah.
We got some crab. And some lobster.
We ate some great food. Your family was there. I do enjoy a good Joe's Crab Shack. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of work for very little bit of meat. Crab?
It's a lot of work for no meat. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. You know, and you showed us a nice little technique which made it easier, but still, for the most part, a lot of work for a tiny little bit of meat. Nah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I'm not in a rush to go back.
Yeah, look,
I am not in a rush to go back. It took a long time.